Welcome Kasturians. In this video we will discuss chapter 6, that is Bhakti and Sufi traditions. So let's start. In the previous video we have seen the growth of different cults and often the conflicts. We have seen the tantric worship, how the Vedas they were simplified into simple Sanskrit to be understandable easily by those who were deprived due to the casteism prevalent by the Brahmins. We have seen the Alvars and Nayanars in Tamil and how these were given the patronage. We have seen Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu as the chief deities which were worshipped by people. Now, in this video, we will see the Veerashiva tradition in Karnataka. During the 12th century, the Veerashiva movement it was started by a Brahmin named Basavana. He was actually a Jain and he was a minister in the court of Chalukya kings. His followers came to be known as the Veerashivas, that is the heroes of Lord Shiva, or Lingayats, means the wearers of the Linga. Lingayats, they believed they were an important community even today, and they believed in the worship of Lord Shiva in the form of a linga. They wore a very small linga in a silver case over the left shoulder. Janagama or wandering monks are revered. Lingayats they believed that after the death the devotees will be united with Shiva and will not return to this world. Therefore, they do not practice funerary rites such as the cremation which were prescribed in the Dharma Shastras. Instead, they ceremonially bury their dead bodies. In fact, the Lingayats they challenged the idea of casteism and the pollutions which were attributed to some groups as untouchable according to the Brahmin texts. They also questioned the theory of rebirth, and their opposition to caste system won very great number of followers who were marginalized groups within the Brahmanical social order. The Lingayats they also practiced certain approvals that were rejected by the Dharma Shastras, such as post puberty marriage and the remarriage of widows. The knowledge about the Veerashiva tradition is basically taken from the Vachanas, that is the sayings which were composed in Kannada by those who joined this movement. Now we will see the religious ferment in the North India, that is the religious conditions in North India. According to historians, in North India, it was a period when several Rajput states they emerged, and in most of these states, it was the Brahmins who occupied important places by performing the rituals. There was no attempt to question their position directly. At the same time, there were other religions and other religious leaders who were out of the orthodox Brahmanical system, and they were gaining ground, that is their followers were increasing. These included the Naths, the Jogis and the Siddhas. Many of these they came from artisanal groups such as the weavers who were well organized, and these religious leaders they questioned the authority of the Vedas. However, they were unable to win support of the ruling elites, or they were not able to get the patronage of the ruling elite class. The Turkish conquest it culminated in the establishment of Delhi Sultanate at the same time, and the power of many Rajput rulers was undermined, and also the power of the Brahmins along with the Rajput rulers was undermined, and those Brahmins who were basically associated with the kingdoms their powers, they've got culminated, and the coming of the Sufis, it was a significant part of such developments. It was Muhammad bin Qasim who conquered Sindh in 711 AD, and it became a part of the Caliph's domain. During the 13th century, and the Turks and the Afghans, they established what we call as the Delhi Sultanate. The sultanates, they were formed in the Deccan also and other parts of the subcontinent, and due to which the Islam, it was recognized as the religion of several areas. This continued with the establishment of the Mughal Empire also. The Muslim rulers, they were guided by the ulemas, which were expected to ensure that they ruled according to the Sharia, that is the Muslim laws. The Zimmi means protected, and it is derived from the Arabic word zimma, that is protection. It was developed for people who followed revealed scriptures like the Jews and the Christians, and those who were living under Muslim rule. They paid a tax, very famous tax, that was called jizya, and they received protection from Muslims in India, and the status was extended to Hindus as well. In general, the rulers, they often adopted a flexible policy towards their subjects or their people. Like several rulers, they used to give land endowments and granted tax exemption to Hindus, Jainis, and Zoroastrians, Christians, and religious institutions. They also showed respect and devotion towards non-Muslim religions.